Welcome to the latest episode of the AI Guides podcast. And today we are joined by Nikola Lazarov. Say hi, Nikola.
Hello.
And Peter Petrov. Hi, Peter.
Hello.
And today we're going to be talking about how AI is being used by small businesses, and it's going to be familiar to a lot of people who have seen OpenAI, and I'm going to be going through this with my colleague, Jen Shelley.
Hi, folks.
Okay, so guys, first of all, thank you very much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
For those who don't know you, can you just give us a little bit of your story and how we get to Ayla? And
yes, sure. Yeah, I can start. So yeah, I'm Nikola Lazarov. I am the CEO and co-founder of AI. So just a bit of background about me. So I'm an AI engineer. I did my master's degree in Cambridge in artificial intelligence. I am specializing in generative AI. For my dissertation, I worked on a predecessor of ChatGPT. It was a dialogue system by Facebook. Yeah, so I mean, that's for the past around 7 years I've been focused on AI. And yeah, 1 year ago we started Ayla. I mean, I can tell you a bit about a story if you want to know how we came up with the idea. So basically, I was working in a London-based hedge fund here, in London, called Marble Bar Asset Management. So I was working for the chairman and the founders of the hedge fund in his team. So I was optimizing trading strategies with AI, or like coming up with different signals that could be used in trading strategies again with AI. And also on top, I was integrating different solutions, AI solutions. And I remember a lot of the solutions that I've integrated, the feedback was very positive. People were really surprised by some of the solutions, especially how quickly they could be integrated. And I mean, to me, this was a very eye-opening moment, because if an institution like that has billions assets under management needs optimization with AI, what about like smaller businesses that can't afford an AI engineer? And then it just clicked. I was like, okay, I mean, I'm in this field, I know the possibilities. I was like, okay, is not the whole world seeing it? Why are they not acting on it? And I thought, okay, I mean, there's a massive opportunity here. Let's do that. I talked to our other partner. He's our CTO. He's also an AI engineer, because we had a similar idea 3-4 years ago about optimizing e-commerce businesses with generative AI. But back then, the models we felt were not as powerful as they're right now, and weren't as accessible. I talked to him, and then I talked to Peter about it. And yeah, I mean, he can say more from his perspective.
Yeah, sure. I can tell you my point of view. So let's start with the beginning. I studied something completely different. I did philosophy, politics, and economics, but I've always been very interested in startups in general, and also how philosophy intertwines with where technology is moving towards. So yeah, I've had some experience with startups, mainly commercial. So I previously worked for a SaaS company before Nikola reached out to me. I was leading the growth department. And when he came to me and showed me the technology, I wasn't aware. It immediately clicked that a lot of the issues that we've been facing on the commercial side there could be solved by something like this. I was actually so excited I couldn't sleep. He knows I couldn't sleep for 3 days, because I was like, I'm sure we can do something here with this. So that's how it started. It was so obvious it was solving a problem. So yeah, that's my point of view, I guess.
So based on that, you were just mentioning about how right now there's a lot going on in this field, more than maybe people know, but ChatGPT, everybody's talking about, is changing that a little bit. And people are very excited about generative language models. I wonder if you could talk about your product in that context and tell us a bit about what makes it stand out, what makes it unique.
Yeah, of course. So everyone knows about ChatGPT nowadays. I remember when we were starting with AWA, I remember everyone was like, oh, wow, what is this? And now people know about it, and they're expecting more and more, which is great. I mean, it's pushing us to be even better. So basically why we're different than, let's say, ChatGPT, for example, is, first of all, we're a multimodal AI platform. We have text, speech, and image generation. And hopefully in the future, we have also video generation. But we are focused on different modalities. And also, ChatGPT is a more general solution for everyone to use, and not only professionals, but in general. People are using it for fun. And I think that's the main application right now. It's not really implemented in businesses, but AWA is built for enterprises. So our goal is to optimize businesses. We want to empirically prove that we are increasing the efficiency of your employees, of your processes. And we build custom. First of all, we fine-tune models. That's one of the things we do. We want to customize the AI models, and also we want to create custom workflows, custom integrations. So our goal is just to save time. With a click of a button, you do processes that would take 20-30 minutes. I can give an example if you want me to. Like, I think
great.
One solution that we're currently working on, soon will be in our platform, is, for example, you're looking for the next guest in the podcast, right? You're looking for smart.
This
like,
is a good example. Yeah.
Yeah, generative AI. Yeah. You're looking for generative AI founders, for example. And what you have to do right now is, I assume you have to go to LinkedIn and like look at different profiles and search generative AI. What actually everyone is doing right now.
Yeah, I imagine. Yeah.
Because you can imagine, but like you go to LinkedIn and you find a founder, for example, you find an interesting person, then you have to read his whole bio and then create a custom message or an email. What you can do with, for example, in AWA, what we will be able to do in a week, but then just an example of a custom solution, but we have many more integrations like that, is you just post the bio of LinkedIn, the profile of this person, we scrape the information, we give it to the text model, and then based on your previous text, 10 LinkedIn messages, for example, we create another LinkedIn message based on the profile of this individual that you found, and also based on your previous messages as context of like trying to copy your tone of voice and how you connect to these people. And it creates a new LinkedIn message, or 10 different versions of a LinkedIn message, just with a click of a button. And just imagine, this is one of the simplest examples that we can give, but it will probably save you, like, let's say 20-30 minutes. And just imagine the more complex solutions that we can provide. That's our goal.
That sounds great. And can you like expand on that, on like some of the other ways that small businesses are able to get ROI from this? Because it doesn't have to be a really large business, right? And I know, for example, you've done work with digital agencies in the past.
Yeah. I can probably give an example of an e-commerce client that we have that we're currently working on something. So they're basically selling stuff online. The company is selling these beauty products. And I think a point that is, Nikola mentioned it, but in general, it might go under the radar, is the multimodality of our platform. So because we have multiple categories of AI, you can create images, but you can also create text, speech, and so on. You can do a lot. So that means you can also create these workflows in different ways for different purposes. So an example with this smaller business, I guess, is they have their website and they're paying for a photographer to take pictures of their products every single month. They have a particular style. They want to, have a specific design of the pictures and so on. So something that they initially use the platform for is they're adding their pictures, they remove the background, and they can put any background that they want. For example, if it's a beauty product, if you put it in a forest, maybe it makes it more appealing and so on. But they were like, we want to have those backgrounds in a particular style. So something that we're working on at the moment with them or considering is trying to fine-tune the model so that it kind of imitates the style of their photographer and the style of their website. So that way they can create, the specific pictures that they want. And then they also want product descriptions with them. So once they create that, the end of the workflow is you have that specific picture, you create a product description that can also be tailored for them using their tone of voice and so on. And then a final piece here of the whole workflow, I guess, is the integration. So you can automatically post that onto their platform and have the whole process done. So this is an example where I think, they're a small business. It's run by just a few people. They're selling stuff online, but they're investing so much in these, like, let's say, photographers, because that's important in their business. Or let's say they're spending their time writing copy. Instead, they can pay us and have that whole process automated, if that makes sense.
Pay us a fraction of what would they actually pay.
Right,
So,
of course.
Yeah.
And And so right now, where are you getting the most traction? What types of businesses are you really able to help the most?
Yeah, so at the moment, I would say it's probably the marketing industry. And that's, I mentioned in the beginning of the podcast, but it's so obvious that there's demand there at the moment that you just see the solution and you're like, okay, I can save a lot of time with this. The thing is, marketing in general now, because there's so much out there, like in terms of content, you're getting bombarded with information. Yeah. There's ads everywhere on the tube or on, on the TV, wherever you land. So people don't pay attention to that much, and you have to get more customized with what you create. So if I want to target you guys, maybe I create something for podcasters specifically, and I show it just to podcasters. But what that means is you have a lot more segments that you had back in the past. Like before, maybe you were targeting, certain demographics, but now I have to go very tailored. That is even more the case for SaaS businesses, because there's so many SaaS businesses for pretty much anything. So you're getting more and more segmented. So yeah, what that means is you have to create more content because you want to appeal to these different groups. So yeah, it seems that content creation in those marketing teams is in high demand at the moment, and it's only going to grow. So that's why we're seeing quite a bit of traction there, but also on the commercial side, anything from sales, because you can use it for outreach at the moment, e-commerce businesses as well, and so on. But we also have like business owners that are using this as well.
Okay. And I saw on your website, you talk about making people 10 times more productive. Can you expand on that? Like, because that's something that we talk about, of companies are thinking not just how they can get 10% better, but how can you integrate technologies like AI into your business to be 10 times better? So how do you guys see that?
So I think it's important first to mention that we don't see as AI as the solution. We see it as the part of the solution. We see it as AI is great. All of the models are amazing, but they can't replace a human being, but they can empower us. So if we integrate AI in our daily processes, we believe that it will make everyone, not only professionals, but in your daily life as well, much more productive. And also for business owners, I believe that if you don't see AI as a replacement of your employees, for example, instead of having 10 people and firing 8 of them and leaving just 2 using AI, just imagine if with these 10 people, teaching them how to use AI, integrating AI into your business, giving them the tools, you can boost your productivity 10x. And we gave you an example, a simple example with LinkedIn. That's just a small example. Like I can talk for hours for all the different solutions and for all the different applications that can boost your productivity. I don't think I need to talk about it, because nowadays everyone sees what's happening, especially with ChatGPT. Just open our eyes of the possibilities. So yeah, that's one of the ways of how we think. Yeah, the future is people using AI to be much more productive.
That's very in sync with our current philosophy as well, and that's often something that we try to explain to people, is that it's augmented intelligence. It's going to improve your intelligence, and it's not intended to be you specifically, but something to help you, your assistant, as
Exactly.
you folks describe it. Now, that's a good lead in, I think, to my next question for you, because of course, yeah, AI isn't all powerful, all knowing. And so there are constraints, limitations on what the technology can do. And on that topic, how would you describe some of the constraints or limitations that your current version of Vela has?
I can start with this one, and Peter can add to it. But like one of the biggest limitations that we have, not we, but like AI in general, is if you use ChatGPT, you might have noticed, is that the models are not really up to date. So basically, they're not all knowing. They're just trained on almost all the text in the world, which is, yes, pretty similar, but it's up to a year, like 2021, let's say. And if you ask a question that is pretty like an event happened recently, yeah, I mean, you won't know it. But for example, we are lucky. One of our partners is actually a fact-checking expert. So he's an AI engineer, and he's specializing in that. And we're working on a solution integrating Google, like for example, Google Search API into like giving up-to-date context to the models. So when you use our platform, you have up-to-date knowledge. So the output of the models will be up-to-date. So this is one of the limitations. Yeah.
Yeah, I can probably give another one as well on leading on that, I guess, is at the moment, the models that are being used in the industry is like, or the most popular one is obviously OpenAI's GPT.
Yeah.
But there is a bit of an issue, I guess, with privacy there and companies that want to keep their data private.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so if you want to, at the moment, if you want to use something, you're directly sending it to Microsoft, basically. So, how the model uses that is a bit arbitrary for the future, and you don't have that security. Yeah, that's also part of our plan, I guess, that's why we want to create our own models and kind of customize that piece as well, is because you can pretty much create that security for these businesses. So if it's more sensitive information, or if it's, let's say, in finance, especially if it's something that you want to keep more secure or private, you'd be able to do that. So you wouldn't be sending it to one individual model, if that makes sense. But that is currently, I would say, a limitation of AI.
It's a really good point. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's a question that we've had from, say, people who are working at law firms or at pharmacies, so that they have client information or patient information that you want to be really careful about how you treat that. And so before you move forward, you want to make sure that you've got the proper checks in place.
Yeah. So I just want to add to the point that Peter made. I mean, OpenAI right now everyone is talking about the startup, and it's an amazing startup. One of the smartest people are working there in like amazing AI lab. But to be completely honest, and here, I mean, if it was such a unique solution, such a unique thing that they've developed, they would not have sold almost half of their company to Microsoft. We believe that's, especially as an AI engineer, these models are replicatable. You need the data. They're using open source data. These architectures are also open source. So there will be a point here where a company like ours, we were providing very similar models as what is, for example, GPT, their models right now, Da Vinci, for example, but will allow, for example, for privacy. That's one of the things that they can't do right now. I'm not saying that we are competing with Microsoft or Google, but also I'm not saying that they will be the only players in this field. I mean, just imagine what happened for example, with Google. When Google started, they were the 7th best search engine. They were competing with Yahoo. Wow, this is amazing, the biggest company. And now, I mean, I doubt any one of you is using Yahoo. So, I mean, we think the same thing is happening, and there will be many more solutions. And one of these, like, improvements to what is out there, and one of these would be the privacy aspect.
That goes back to your earlier point about customization. So, like, OpenAI can serve a wide market, but depending on what field you're in, you might need something that's more focused on what you're doing in your specific domain, and then being able to add in fine tuning from your company's own data, right?
Yeah, exactly. The problem with OpenAI is they're not open at all. They're
Well,
I mean, it's a bit ironic, but you can't do almost anything with their models. So you can just use them, and they just released the ChatGPT API. And if you see, it's a very, let's say, they're not releasing the full thing. I'm not going to get into technical details here, but they're not open at all. So we're currently fundraising, and one of the things that we're asking investor money for is an AI team, so we can build our own models and we can do whatever we want with them. Because as OpenAI is definitely like not allowing you to do that.
Yeah, I've been following along with some of that as well, and I totally agree that this is really just the beginning of what I think we're going to see as a generative AI and language focused AI explosion. So as you say, there'll be lots more to come on that front, I think. And a lot of it is, I'm glad you brought up the open source piece, because really a lot of this is being powered by the open source community, as OpenAI was initially. And so that's an important group of an important player in the space as well. So yeah, we'll definitely have to watch and see what develops.
What I
Exactly.
want is to fine tune a model so that I can have like a virtual Jen, so that instead of me always going and asking questions, that we train it with her expertise, and then I can have more back and forth. So I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, the Gen Avatar coming soon to a podcast near you.
So, you talked about fundraising, and
Yeah.
what's next for you guys?
I mean, it's wild. I mean, I don't know what's happening in the world. I just came back from, I went to see a partner in an incubator here in London. I went to there. It was just more to talk about AI. We're not in an incubator stage. We're actually fundraising. We're looking for a seed round right now. But I went there and I talked with other generative AI founders and amazing, super smart people in the field. But everyone is working in generative AI. And even after that, I went for lunch in central London. 2 teachers next to me were talking about ChatGPT. I don't know what's happening in this world. I feel like I live in a simulation more and more, because I remember when I was Cambridge, as I said, I'm a generative AI specialist, so this is what I'm doing. This, for a lot of people, it's just a hype. For me, this is my life. And I remember we were only 2 people working on transformers, like GPT as a transformer. The next year, there were around 10 people out of around 20 people in this Cambridge, this master degree. Then the next year, there were almost everyone. So there was definitely a hype in the AI field. But all of a sudden, now I'm talking with my grandma and my family, and they're talking about transformers.
You're like,
I have no idea I don't know. For us personally, we're raising right now. As I said, we're looking for a seed round, but I don't know. I don't know what's happening in this world. Yeah.
That's some serious exponential growth.
Yeah.
From 2 to your grandmother. Okay, well, we really love what you guys are doing. We love your philosophy about how it's augmenting people, and the idea of being able to take your own data, fine tune it, and improve your productivity. So that perfectly aligns with what we're doing. So we're going to keep following you, and we look more to big developments from you guys. Is there any last words that you wanted to share with people?
Definitely check out our website. 100%.
We can definitely help.
Yeah.
And the website is EILLA.ai.
Exactly.
Ayla?
Ayla. And if you're wondering how we came up with the name, as very creative individuals, we asked the model, how would you call yourself?
that's great.
Yeah. We just added one L because we didn't want it to be entirely up to the model. We wanted to have some part of it. You
need that collaboration, right?
Yeah.
It was a draft that she created. We just added the L afterwards.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for taking the time to share this with us. And we wish you the best of luck.
Same. Thank you so much. And yeah.
Thank you for having us. Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.